It is the 19th of the 9th, 2025. The time is 5 minutes past 9 a.m.s. Tough early start, but I digress. It is round 17, free practice 1. We are T minus 25 minutes away. How are we all doing this? And I hope you're all right. T-double-M. Red Bull, we'll talk about it. Jamie Chadwick. Oh my gosh, Michael, you guys are killing me. Here's what you need to know. Charles Leclerc has the upper hand, eh? 4 of the past 4 poles have belonged to him. What are we doing here? I didn't know that. Listen, it's gonna be chaos over here. 1 second. You'll excuse all this chaos. Sometimes you're not used to these 9 a.m. streams. Do you know what I mean? Lest we forget. Maybe 1 second. Right, there we go. We need to get rid of that, Cameron. Go on, and all I've been listening to over the past 24 hours is bloody Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri make excuses for the multitudinous foibles of the strategic variety of the papaya. What are we doing, chat? I've had enough of the... I don't know. We'll talk about all of the Baku circumstance and the 90-degree turns that so epitomise its sector 2. And this is why, sadly, for Maximilian Verstappen, it will be difficult unless... RB21 has been fixed by Pierre Vacher. Its understeery circumstance won't like this track. Charles Leclerc, however, does. Specialist around here, 4 poles. That's more than anybody else. Almost combined, for feet's sake. Although, if we speak to the Max Verstappen circumstance, they were just saying on the podcast, Andrew Benson on the Checkered Flag podcast, that this is one of the only tracks where Checo Perez used to make Max look human. That this isn't therefore one of Max Verstappen's best tracks, that he's too smooth on his input. Sometimes around Baku you need a Fernando Alonso type who's going to wrestle the steering wheel because of the 90-degree turns that so epitomise not just the track but sector 2 in particular. It had to happen, Kevin. Do you know what I mean? What you don't want is people throwing money at you on the street thinking that you might be homeless. Sometimes you got to sort yourself out. Outlaw, you're a legend, mate. Motor Manic, let's go. We are indeed back. We are here for it. It's not a camera to do without our people from down 100% Issa. Let me say this at the outset. As per Issa, he's triggered me. I make no apologies. My name is, of course, the name that's above the door. Of course it is. I get it. Nominal value, but substantive comes from each and every single one of you guys who turn up each and every single time. This community drives to survive by dint of your guys' availability, showing up, correcting me, holding my very noddy B-spec F1 feet to the F1 flame. And I'm grateful for that. Ad infinitum, in perpetuity, ad nauseum. T-double-M, Red Bull fluke or momentum. That is the Shakespearean question. I mean, we'll find out, won't we? T-double-M over the next 48 hours. My gut tells me that it's fluke, not necessary. I'd use a different word, that it's an anomalous instance. That yes, they've brought the floor. Yes, they've brought the floor fairing. Yes, Lauren Mekies is an engineering mind. Yes, they're depending more on Max Verstappen's feedback as versus the rote to learn simulation type methodology. I get all that, and that's all well and good. However, it's a different track. It's that sector 2. But for sector 2, and I think Max Verstappen would go well. If Max will still do something, he'll still go well. I don't know whether he'll win it though, and or put it on pole. Sector 2 is like kryptonite for that RB21. You've seen it, chat. 90-degree turns. They're all low minimum speed, medium duration, and I don't think that's where the RB, unless they've fixed it properly. Can you imagine? If they've really fixed it, it's not an upgrade. That's like a complete reinstitution of the RB21 concept. Morning, Visual. I hope you're all right, man. Might be able to watch, but I hope it's event for you. You're a legend, Visual. Will Dustin call Max an idiot? Can you imagine, Luke? Lando Norris has got a flipping cheek, hasn't he? Who's he calling an idiot? I mean, it's probably the... Listen, if you go on the grass, Lando, then I would contend that you, sir, are the idiot. Or at least on that occasion, you were the idiot. That listen, let me get a bee off my bonnet. As Crofty goes through, or Simon Lazenby goes through, 324 points is Oscar Piastri's in a driver's standing. 31 points down the road from Lando Norris. Maximilian Verstappen, again, another 63 points down the road on 230 points. 94 points adrift of the cumulative total, the lead. That's chaos. I mean, it's gonna get. It's gonna. I think that Luke, the track doesn't bode well, eh? Go on and let me tell you about this McLaren stuff. Yeah, do me a favour if you could like the chat. If you like the stream per TWM, then like TWM. How do you not have a bloody let me rectify this TWM. Your boy's sleeping out here. They keep trying to put I've been listening to this McLaren thing is getting on my nerves. T-20 till we get ourselves a cheeky FP1 round 17, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I have had enough of these McLaren Donnies. In the first instance, I'm rooting for Max Verstappen to hold their feet to the fire. Stop putting your thumb on the scale of the competitive landscape. Andrea Stella, Zach Brown, McLaren. I'm tired of it. It is tiring, McLaren. What are we doing here? Every time there's been a dominant season like this where one car is taking it on, you at the very least can invest in a competition between the driver pairing. 2016, Nico and Lewis, the rivalry between those two kept us dialed in. That's where we spent our attention dollars. What were they going to do? Were they going to be throwing caps at each other in the cool down room? You know what I mean? Were they going to crash into each other at Spain? That was where the intrigue came from. Don't deprive us of that then, McLaren, surely. Now that the constructors, or hopefully after this Grand Prix, now that the constructors will be tied up, what have you got to lose? I understand that they're invested in longevity. I get it. You don't want your drivers to fall out like Alonso and Hamilton did in I understand it, but bloody Nora, it's frustrating, isn't it? It's frustrating. Every other year that it's been like this, 1989, Senna and Prost, 2007, Alonso and McLaren, although Alonso and Lewis, although they weren't that dominant that season. Every other season that you've had like dominance like this, at least allow the bloody drivers to fight. Like, what are we doing here? I swear, honestly, hybrid, don't even get me started, mate. McLaren without the mini DRS, I see Leclerc, but I think you might be onto something there. Charles, Charles a specialist around here. Ugh! McLaren got me going scorched earth already. Look at this. Tears are literally coming out my eyes in frustration. What's going on, Nicola? Go get a coffee, mate. I'm not. You know what, Nicola? Coffee doesn't work for me very well, sadly. Doesn't. Coffee is to my system as an Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris dynamic. It's to McLaren's stability soon. It will happen soon. It will happen. I hope the McLaren will start on the front row because I want to see who has the biggest balls going through the tights and showing true championship form. Rick, you may well get that, chap. You may well get that. I was listening to the race between this race and last. T-minus is 16 minutes till we get ourselves a cheeky FP1. I was listening to the race talking about the driver styles of OJP and Lando, and a couple of upshots. Intriguingly, to a man, Marcuse and Ed Straw both thought that Lando Norris was quicker than OJP in absolute terms. As we've stated on this channel gazillion times, that without the pressurized circumstance, I think Lando Norris would beat Oscar 7-8 times out of 10. I think you can take that to the bank. But where OJP is brilliant, not only is his stoicism, but in his forensic car placement. Please see the equivalent fixture this time last year, overtake of the year, on the one that they call modern day Jean Lazy, aka Charles Leclerc. Charles could do a job today, Delaney. Well, he's got to build it. Listen, here's what I'll say about Charles Leclerc. Absolutely, he's got in specialist around here, but he's got to build himself a race weekend. Don't go and yeet it into the barrier. FP1 Charles, for Pete's sake. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's AJP and Lando, the worst potential F1 champions since fast car asymmetric behave yourself, Joe. Leclerc is a specialist not to win from pole from here. You know, Issa, they mentioned on the race as well. I'll give these guys credit because they've been on fire this week. Even if you can nail qualifying, you'll be able to your ability to outperform the car in qualifying far exceeds your ability to outperform the car over the course of, I don't know, a 53 lap Italian Grand Prix. You know what I mean? It's much harder. There's too many laps. It's longevity. It's longer form. Yeah, it's different. It's different. I'm trying to empathise with Charles Leclerc here. In F2, there were a lot of brake fires and failures, blimey. Called himself an idiot crashing into the wall in the castle. God, no, Luke. He's made a couple of mistakes, but he's also put it on pole a lot of times around here, Charles. Intriguingly, Charles Leclerc was 4th favourite. Lando can do a quick lap. But can he do a quick race is the question. He's lacking the race championship mentality, in my opinion. Nicola, I don't hate it. I think you're onto something there. It's not championship mentality. Let's be precise with our language, Cameron. What is it about Lando that maybe it is championship mentality? I think it's consistent. Shaw will nail it into the castle session. Oh, don't jinx him. Don't jinx him. You see the legend that is. Says that Leclerc is good around here. But still might be taking me a cheeky bet on Max Verstappen. I mean, we never get. I'm not betting against Max Verstappen again. 151 if you're watching Kokona. Do me a favour and smash a like. T-minus 14 minutes away from FP1 round 17, Azerbaijan Grand Prix, Baku. Techier than techie things. Sector 2, 90-degree turns, low minimum speed, medium duration. It will get techie. The key question on everybody's lips is, will the RB21 be able to... The trend is your friend until there's a bend, right? Is the floor fairing and brand new floor and brand new other bits and bobs capable of enabling Max Verstappen to outperform the car again? Isaac Hajar on camera again. Is there any announcements, said Ted Gravitz, that we need to know about you? Have you signed anything? He's a slime boss. I love a bit of Ted. Is there anything that we need to know about you? Isaac, have you signed any contracts, Isaac? Are you, do you even need to sign a contract to be in that Oracle Red Bull racing car next year, Isaac? Is there anything that you... The subtlety. Oh, is not the best. Made that call this morning. Waiting for a call. Let's go, Z. Let's go. Z, if you're not... a wise man once told me, if you're not changing, you're choosing. Bravo, Z. Progress, sir. Potato Smuggler, you're a legend. Therapeutic commentary time, you're a legend. Potato Smuggler, I appreciate you, mate. He knows all the ways to find the what he does. He does. Civilised time here in South East Australia. You're a legend, David Hughes. Sir David Hughes. It's techie. Who's going to break their cars today? I mean, you'd do worse than betting on a Lance Stroll incident. It is France. Ted Kravitz is a joker. That was good. That line of questioning played them. It's Ted Kravitz. It's what Ted Kravitz is doing. Yeah, are you going to... We're going to get more impersonations on the channel. I'm going to get better with them. It's 1:17 a.m. on the west coast of the USA. You are a legend, Sebastian. I appreciate you, mate. You know what I mean? I'm out here moaning, shedding tears because of a 9:18 a.m. start, and you guys are out there. 1:17 a.m. west coast of the USA. Hello for Tacoma, Washington. You're a legend. Hope you're having a great day. Let us go. Let's go. Sonoda in the war. Please say it's not Stroll who. A wise man once told me, don't ask. Yeah, better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Take notes. Oscar Piastri. Let's go. Camera mate, you're absolutely there. Vince, you're a legend. You guys are legend. This early morning, you guys are maybe feel really, really grateful. I'm not going to lie. 5:18 in Brazil, France. Oh, the humanity for FP1. You guys are infinitely better than me. More committed. More diehard than I am. Jamie Chadwick on deck. Where's Nico Rosberg? Eh? Where is he? Do you know what I mean? Give that man a contract. Give him a check and a pen and allow him to write his own number. The broadcast is infinitely better, I would argue, when he's on hand. Right, let me do something. Would you want it, says Simon Lazenby, if you're Isaac Hadja? Right, your boy needs to get some... Boom, 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 boom. Come on, Cameron. Mate, I don't think Azerbaijaan wants any of that Max Verstappen smoke. Not yet. It's too soon. It's too early. Bide your time, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's... I don't think he'll fare well in the first instance. It's too techie. Right, bear with chat. I need to bring something up. Yeah, don't rush him. Jamie Chadwick's made the right point there. 421 in Ohio. Mathetis, you're a legend. Got a call out, mate. You've made my week. Vince, Vince, you hit upon the right point. I was watching some of my favourite podcasters earlier in the week. It's got to be a conversation. Honestly, when I put a cheeky message and they didn't read it out, I was like, oh, my heart broke. It's an important thing, this interaction. It has to be a conversation. It must be a conversation, Vince. Because otherwise, what's the point? And again, I apologise for not being able to read out each and every single one of your chat's messages. Do you know what I mean? But the channel's doing all right at the moment. So just if look at it, humility, any Cameron. But no, the sheer number of them means that I can't read every single one of them out. And of course, I've got to give elated peddlers, aka members, priority. But yeah, no, it has to be a conversation. 6:30 p.m. on the eastern tip of Australia, says Ghost. Cam, who do you want to win the championship? Don't beat around the proverbial bush. People want to know. Of the two McLaren drivers, so I'd love for Lando to keep Oscar honest for as long as possible. I'm invested in Competitive Drivers Championship PLC. However, for that to be the truth, I've got to root for Lando. I'm not a big Lando fan, I can't lie. There's something about Lando that feels ever so slightly disingenuous, a bit smarmy. I don't know. I can't put my words evade me ever so slightly. T minus 8 minutes until we get ourselves a cheeky FP1. Words evade me when it comes to descriptors, signifiers that nail Lando Norris. But there's something about the chap that doesn't. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Everybody loves him in the UK. He's a legend. It's tomorrow in Japan. You're a legend, Ivan. Cameron, can we normalise Ted Kravitz impersonation anytime there is juicy paddock goss? Let's go. Let's do it. Cameron's a cat coming back. Tomorrow, Luke, when the hairline fades, Lando's sweat. There's something about him, Space. There's something about... You know what it is with... Here's what I think it is with Lando. He's always been the best coming up through the formula. So humility isn't something that he's ever needed in his toolbox. He's always been the best, always been the quickest. Do you know what I mean? Coming up through F2 was the first time when he struggled, right? And I think he is therefore engendered with this air of not nonchalance, the laissez-faire that comes with always being the best, unnatural talent, and not having to put in work. Now I know that he's working away now and he's spending more time in the sim and he's doing more due diligence and watching old races. But I think there is I don't know, chap. I don't know. I want to chill out with the Lando slander. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But he leaves me with no option. It's time. Damn some poor Lando. I think I'm not a million miles away. We don't bat 1,000 hybrid. But I think we do beat the Mendoza line from time to time. Concerning Lando, he had the chance on that second Red Bull seat when McLaren was still in midfield. 100% Nicola, and that's a brilliant decision, right? He's done the anti-Fernando Alonso and he's made the right decision at the right time. Because imagine, I thought that he should have gone to Red Bull and got an ass whipping from Max Verstappen. Like, they had the best car then, but Lando was ahead of the curve, and for that he deserves credit, methinks. Race weekend is about to start, indeed. It's the smirk, says Stanley. I think he's a bit cheeky, isn't he? I think he enjoys... Okay, here, if we're going to get techie, here's what it is. he enjoys a level of goodwill amongst the British press and media that a Max Verstappen or Charles Leclerc could barely dream of. When you see pinks into it, to be fair, there's something to be said for all of the broadcasters when they're in the scrum. They're almost like, because the F1 drivers are so young, there's like a parental thing going on there. Like, it's only when you get Brooksy in there that just goes, Max Verstappen, did you do that deliberately? But then even with Brooksy, there is an empathy that's almost tangible that she leverages to a Lando as versus a Max. I think Lando's just Lando's just a cuddly figure, and so he gets more goodwill. Do you know what I mean? They don't pitch at Lando the hard hitting questions. Well, Lando, why did you bottle the start again, mate? You know what I mean? How many starts are you going to bottle this year? Lando, Italian Grand Prix, mate. Why did you go on the grass? This makes no sense. The grass? Don't you know that F1 cars aren't fit for purpose to be driven on grass? They are F1 cars, sir, not tractors. Like, do you know what I mean? Those are the questions that I'd pitch at Lando, but they don't do it because it's all like meek and mild. Oh, Lando, are you okay, Lando? Trying to like talk him off the cliff edge. I'm like, are we journos here, or are we therapists? No, which one is it? It's like Lando's on at 30 million a year. I mean, if he can't spend some of that on his like mental fortitude and strength, and again, this stuff shouldn't be poo-pooed. I'm being insensitive. I am. But a journo is a journo, and a journalist has a job to do. And part of that, composite of that, for me, is asking the questions that matter, the tough ones. Just like Brooksy does at Max Verstappen each and every single time. We are round 17. We are T-minus 3 minutes away from FP1. And it's going to get techier than techie things. 6 kilometres round here, 51 laps. Track lap record, 140.203. Charles Leclerc, 2023. 27 metres elevation, 366 kilometres per hour. Track lap record is a 143. It's going to get techie around there. It will get techie. Although people aren't hot on this Grand Prix. C6, C5, C4 are the compounds that you're bringing. He's slime. Oh, Donald, say ain't so. Concerning Lando, he had the chance on that second run, but yeah, we read that. Cameron, get up the stuff. You slack. I know it's coming, Z. I am slacking, mate. All over the shop, all over. I am stupid. Bernie Collins, Anthony D. Oh, A up. We've got stuff going on here. And by the way, who's your best journo? I think I love a Matt Bishop article. I'm not gonna lie. Matt Bishop. There's a couple that are really good. Nigel Roebuck is almost the consensus best F1 journalist. But I love a good Matt Bishop piece. The language, the rich tapestry. Ben, you're a legend. If you include the sprint, Leclerc's put it on pole the last 5 times. I stand corrected, sir. You're a legend. Really, really good stat. We'll go through stats before FP2. I've got loads of that. In fact, if we get a cheeky lull in the action, I'll yes, but not even one was converted to it. It's a good shout. It's a good shout. But how much of that is Max Verstappen? Yeah, I mean, we can't wax lyrical about Max Verstappen and then not. Right, your boy needs to do some things here. Bear with, I'm coming, chap. Ted Kramit's talking about Max Verstappen's now notorious exploits at the Nordschleife. Oh, go away, please. No. I will make an excuse here. The reason why this is taking so long, chat, is because multi-viewer, and again, support multi-viewer because they support us. But what's happened is that multi-viewer, the legends that are, have updated all of their things. So again, support them if you have a PC and or a laptop. Do be sure, if you were that way inclined, to download yourself the goatiest F1 app to have ever goated, the one that they call Multiview. Not bad, not bad. Look at what they've done to the map. Let's go. Donate this. Okay. All right, there you go. There you go. See, I got there in the end. Do you know what I mean? Forgive me, Lord, for I know not what I do. We got there in the end, kind of. I hope you finally did it, Sebastian. You're a legend. Thanks, handsome, muscular Jesus. An F1 session at proper time. Yes, brother, but not even one was converted to a win. Sad. I agree with you, Daniel. I agree with you. The clock has indeed started, but your boy needs to sort it out on his bloody bear with. Come on, Cameron. We'll get there in the end, I promise. We'll win. We will win. You know what I realize? You want me to give you guys a funny thing? Bernie Collins clearly just listens to the exact same podcast that I listen to. She just cited an Andrew Benson line almost verbatim. Jolyon Palmer talked about Max Verstappen being almost too smooth on the steering wheel for Sector 2. All those 90-degree turns. And Bernie Collins just regurgitated it almost word for word without citation. How very dare she? Do you know what I mean? It's not acceptable, is it? What's going on here? Right, very. We have cars out on track. We are T-minus 58 minutes and 15 seconds away from having an FP1 session in the books. Oh, come on, Cameron. Let's go. All right. We're nearly there, chat, I promise. Got to be brave around here. One must be brave. Okay, let's go. Let us. Bernie Collins is stealing. Not my lunch money, Max. Not my lunch money. Jolyon Palmer and you got to give credit where it's due, right? And citation. Jolyon Palmer and Andrew Benson won the Checkered Flood podcast, BBC F1s. And they said that potentially Max Verstappen's a bit too smooth on his inputs and gets handicapped for that through Sector 2. Bernie Collins just regurgitated that, like, word for word. Bless her. What are we doing? Oh, GT, you're a legend. Out here looking like a fresh set of C6s. Just, it had to be done. What's up, Cameron? What's up, Daniel DeCesar? I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm a sobre vivo, as they say. Street track. Come on, Antonelli. You got, oh my gosh, France. Did you see, by the way, T-minus 56 minutes left on the docket. Did you see, by the way, Antonelli? I was quite sad that they'd put on the back of his underperformances recently and at the Italian Grand Prix. I was a bit disappointed. And, by the way, Toto's comments. No longer is he being positive ad nauseum about Kimi Antonelli. I was a bit disappointed that they'd put Kimi Antonelli in the presser. The FIA one. It's like, no. And they went hard on him. They don't get again. If you want, Lando needs to box to remove it. If you want to see British bias, look at the way they deal with Kimi Antonelli. Look, the questions that leveraged at him is just like, what did you make, Kimi Antonelli, of the comments that Toto Wolff made of you? Described your performance last race weekend as underwhelming, error strewn. What did you make about that, and how do you plan to leverage that and weaponise that going forward? It's like, well, you never say that to Lando ever in your life. I'm surprised he's been so close to Georgia at times. Kimi's doing fine. I think of late he's not been. I think mistakes have started to creep in. That's the issue. Debris was indeed caught in Lando Norris's McLaren. Cheeky stop. Is that Bortoletto? What's going on, Gabby? Gabby, yeah, that's the wrong way, Gabby. Come on, chap. That's the wrong way. He's hesitated. Gabby was going to go for it, but it weren't worth it. Fail fast day. There's Massimilian Verstappen, 146.1. Early days. 319 kilometers through the speed trap. Sonoda-san, look at that. Oh my gosh, Sonoda-san 0.9. As near as makes no difference, a second adrift of his teammate, who, by the way, is driving the same car. I feel like this is McLaren territory trap early on, unless Red Bull can do something. But Max has said that he doesn't listen. No longer we doing the random walk design philosophy thing as far as our setup. Gonna go in there and we're gonna go hard. Up, go easy, Charles. Yeah, Charles on it already, isn't he? Oof. On the limit straight away, Charles Leclerc is not playing his way into the crease at all. And this is the problem, mate. Do you know what I mean? If you're gonna go 100% straight away and your name is Charles Leclerc, then you risk touching a barrier. Toto wanted a Max Verstappen in the shape of Kimi, but there's only one. Max Verstappen says, outlaw, do not disagree. It's a 19-year-old rookie who got fast-tracked through the system with Lewis leaving. If anything, Toto is to blame for not giving it. Do not disagree, friends. Z says, Max might be going to the dentist this week. TWM, how did Kimi handle the questions? He has a photographic memory. If he didn't handle those questions with no sweat, I'd say it's because he's under stress. So Kimi handled the questions really well. But what jumped off the page at me, TWM, is, I mean, we talk about British bias a lot, right? The British bias was loud, or the lack thereof, in the way that they threw the questions at a 19-year-old Kimi Antonelli. I just thought it was a bit harsh. Well, you're Toto, your manager and team principal, said that your performance for the first time in your career last weekend was not very good. Like, it's like, behave yourself, Tom Clarkson. You'd never ask Lando. Tom Clarkson is a straight shooter. But even then, I think bias is still inbuilt into the way that he handles a Lando Norris. Impression from Russell straight out the box is far too tense than Antonelli, but you'd expect that. You got to extend a bit of grace to Kimi. I think Tyre factor this weekend. It will be. It's them. Well, to be fair, less so than probably the Temple of Speed. There are less Lesmos and Parabolicas, but yeah, and still set to one. There were those type of turns, but not a lot of them. Saw like 90-degree ones set to do. We'll go through the track a little later on. British, fancy a cuppa and a scone. Do you know what I mean? Chin chin. Calm down, pal, says Issa. Leclerc will either spectacularly crash or spectacularly take pole. There is no in between. 51 minutes. As Lando Norris got, look at that, 144.274. Oof. Blisteringly quick. Goes a second faster than everyone else. That's quick. That's quick from Lando already. Look at the sector 2, yeah. Alex Albon quick through sector 2 though. Oh no, Oscar's gone. Ted Kravitz says Oscar's out. That. Oh wow. Huh. Did Ted Kravitz just say playing his way? Was Ted Kravitz about to say playing his way into the crease? These are phrases in the English language, I understand. We'll get proof positive that they listen to the Cameron CC podcast. And us. And you. Power units gone for OJB. Oh no. Oh no. Normalise for that, McLaren. Do you know what I mean? Put your thumb on the competitive landscape scale now, please. I suppose that means Lando now has to. Do you know what I mean, Zabachi? They're bringing the sport into disrepute. Oscar does not look pleased. Look at his face. This is not good news. Street circuit. You want to build your way in, eh? Play your way in to the Baku crease. Get all the lap time that you can. Oscar Piastri's already out the car, experiencing problems with his power unit. That doesn't bode well. Oh, the racing gods are cruel. Cruel. I mean, already it feels a bit like Lewis in 2016, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Do you remember when they switched Lewis's pit crew all of a sudden? And then they stopped tightening the bolts on his car. And then as near as makes no difference, every race Lewis Hamilton would experience reliability issues. Do you remember that? And then we all thought, well, German team, German driver, Nico Rosberg. Do you remember that? Conspiracy theorists, tinfoil hat settings. But you'd forgive a Lewis Hamilton fan for thinking that, right? Hanlon's razor settings. Or Occam's, excuse me. Potato Smuggler, you're an absolute legend. Norris passed the comment on Verstappen being able to race at the Nordschleife Nürburgring because he isn't fighting for a championship. I hope there's a rant video soon. Cam, I missed that. From that. He's full of those, isn't he, though, Potato? I accept your scorched earth invite, Potato. He is full of those, like, these, like, backhanded pseudo-intellectual compliments, is Lando. Like, he's just a bit... He thinks he's better than he is, Lando. I mean, he's a brilliant driver. Don't get it twisted. But the package as far as a driver, if we're talking about winning championships, he lacks something as far as execution and mental fortitude and diligence and industry, doesn't he? He's not as complete as Lando thinks he is the issue. And I mean, he has that relationship with Max, so maybe it's banter and maybe it's him just, I don't know. I'm trying to make excuses for Lando. But there are no excuses. How very dare you put some respect on Max Verstappen's name. One is a no-time champion and one is a four-time. How very dare you, Lando Norris? Do you know what I mean? If you even dreamt that you're a four-time champion, Lando Norris, you'd wake up and apologise. You must. Lando's a sport child. I concur. Oh, Lando going over George Russell. Let's have a word. 144.150. 321 kilometres as Lando takes back the timesheet topping. 140 red flag settings. Oh no. Why is there a red flag? Who's crashed? Tell me it's not Shaw, please. Easy G, enough slack. I know Easy G, but you see, partially tongue-in-cheek, but there are truth undertones there. There are truth undertones, Easy G. I know you identify Easy G. I know you agree secretly, even though you'll never admit it. Umanch, the legend. There's a piece of carbon on the last corner. It says Pierre Gasly. Baku looks like such a beautiful city. Might be a cool place. 100%, Sebastian. I don't disagree with that. Parts on track. Daniel says Lando comes across as spoilt and arrogant when he doesn't mind his own business. Too bad for him. There is something to Lando Norris. But I mean, maybe he goes and wins the World Championship. If he performs up to his not insubstantial potential, then he's got a very good chance of it's the defence attorneys here. Easy shit, yeah. Oscar not allowed to win anymore, you're sorted. Can you imagine? I mean, these things happen in Formula One, but Oscar Piastri fans predicted this, that the events of the Italian Grand Prix and Lando Norris's reliability at the Dutch portended this. They predicted it. With Bernie Ecclestone's comments about, knew you're a legend and far too kind as always. With Bernie Ecclestone's comments about Hamilton, do you think he's trying to engineer a move from Max to Ferrari? You know, if he was in charge, that's what he'd be doing. Bernie's always got a plan, hasn't he? He's always moved. He's always leveraging the Gary Kasparov 4 chess moves ahead of the game. Like, he's always been that way. But I think it's low-hanging journalistic tropes for Bernie to criticise Lewis. I mean, kick a man when he's down. Bernie loves doing that. He's always, even when it was 2020 and Lewis was as near as makes no difference, invincible. Do you know what I mean? He couldn't. He'd put it on pole with his eyes closed. Bernie still had something to say about Lewis Hamilton. So I don't know. Take from that what you will. I don't think Bernie's ever been a big Lewis Hamilton fan for whatever reason. Too kind as always, Neil. Cam, do you see Oscar sabotage? I mean, people will have this. I reckon Twitter fingers are already kicking off talking about this. Looks and feels a lot like Lewis in 2015 or 2016, the year when Nico Rosberg won his one and only, and then shortly retired shortly thereafter. Excuse me. This is why F1 is a great sport. Such flaws in character could go masked for years, but in F1 they show themselves in a lack of It's true. True TWM. Sound like Damon a little bit. What did Damon say about Max that time? That sport doesn't build character, it reveals it, or something like that. How very dare Damo. Damo, by the way, is going to be in attendance. He's doing like these live shows, isn't he? Debating with Shazina whether we should turn up to one. I might try and get Baxter involved, but I think Baxter might be otherwise. Occupy. This is Techie Neil. Always Techie. Lando! In the words of the legend that is Homer. Oh, the papaya rules. That's what I've been talking about, the new papaya rules and the parameters and X, Y, Z. I can't cope with it. Numpties. Don't worry, Lewis feeds into that to get better. I think you're right. But Lewis needs to it's more than get better now. Lewis needs a bloody car is what happens. Red flag for what? Sorry, I'm outside. Umarch, there was a piece of debris on track. A McLaren double DNF and a Max win would spice up the rest of the season. I think Max is too far adrift. And I mean, never bet against Max Verstappen. I am a case in point the other weekend when I put money on Lando Norris to drop it on pole. What a numpty. An absolute joke, man. 42 minutes left on the docket. 100% Sebastian. Lando, you know what? That's my. I can't project onto Lando Norris my own poor low level decision making. I should have done. Listen, but Lando should have put that on pole. Like he should have put that on pole. But again, Max is the difference maker. Do you know what I mean? He's now has always been the difference maker. Bosh. Do one of those. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, he did cost me money. But I can't bear a grudge. That's my... Do you know what I mean? I can't do the Lando Norris thing on Lando Norris. I've got to accept... Got to hold myself to account. Do you know what I mean? I can't blame Lando for my own poor low-level decision-making. Serious amount. Bottoming in the straights. Running the car very low then, George. Do you know what I mean? That's why you're so quick around there. Round effect. 2020, Lewis 10 poles, Bottas 5 poles, so Lewis was beatable in quite 100%. No, but you get, I mean, don't Grice's razor me tick, short, snaps. You understand the sentiment. peak Lewis Hamilton, some say 2020. After Fernando's suspension failure, followed by a multitude of DNFs, a bad career decision. I wonder what he did in a past life to deserve this. I know. It's the old bloody, what is this Marshall doing? Why has somebody put an exercise band underneath the curb? What's going on? You're going to have to get the digger out, mate. Yeah, that's not good enough around there. Come on, Azerbaijan steward. What's going on here? I believe he can come back 100%, but he has to do it next season because of age. What a story it would be. Daniel, I concur, sir. You keep Q2, no. He'll just cut it for Pete's sake. What are we doing? Go on then to Fernando's point. You've heard the Fernando Alonso stat that he's something like 8. I don't know if it's 8 or 12. I think it's 8 points away cumulatively from being a 5-time champion and not a 2-time champ. Lando Vogue photos all over my I don't. Honestly, JJV. Can you imagine if I'd sat on here and said, oh, I can't be bothered with Lewis Hamilton going to the Met Gala, but I love Lando Norris's Vogue pictures. No. Yeah, I've got to play conceit. Exactly, get a box cutter. Clear it, mate. Have you got a pair of scissors? Yeah, no, I'm not. I couldn't care less. Lando or anybody else on the cover of anything. Even when Max is on GQ, bless it, I can just don't care. How'd your car being checked for damage for that debris? Curb lost its rubber. I know, it's hard to. Jay tells Sainz is the next Alonso. Oh, the humanity, France. How very dare you? Neil says, I agree that Lando lacks the ruthless edge to make him a sure bet to be a champion, but you have to admit that his lack of edge right now is working for McLaren because they have Piastri. I think it's working for McLaren because they've got the quickest car by 1,000 gazillion miles, isn't it? That's why. I don't know. There's something weird about this season. I don't know. It's fixed. Put your tinfoil hats on right now. Do you know what I mean? It's fixed. 250 in the chat, and I make no apologies for thanking each and every single one of you for holding my F1 feet to the flame, continuing the conversations. You know what I mean? Being the F1 yin to my yang, and I appreciate you for that. In ad infinitum. The FKG of Oscar Piastri is. Oh no, gory. Tell me they're not going to do over Oscar. This cannot be right. It cannot be right. It does feel and look and smell like Lewis in 2016 though. Not the first time I'm saying this, and it will not be the last British team, British driver. Mercedes German team in 16. Nico Rosberg, German driver, or at least born in Germany. Oscar is getting wonked. Oh no. Did you see the video from Ford Racing called Liam and Isaac Hajar Dreamed? I have not seen it, Max, but I'll take a look. It's great. Both drivers take classic Ford Racing cars. I'll have a look. Ford are on they're trying to take it. They're going to milk this, aren't they? And by this, of course, I'm talking about the collaboration with Red Bull as far as their powertrains. This is the first time that I've seen Oscar look at his brows are furrowed. I feel like that's the most concern that I've seen Oscar look all season. Maybe something of a nothing burger, but it's not ideal that for Oscar. It's not ideal at all. British team, British driver. I mean, it's obvious at this point. A bit of Occam's, do you know what I mean? Connecting dots. Or maybe it's a bit of F1 apophony. I don't know. Piastri will be studying Norris's telemetry on the pit wall. Lando better check. True. He would do well, Lando. There's worse things that he could do than keeping his cards very close to his chest. Be glad it's practice. Easy, I don't disagree. Just FP1, so can't look into it that much. Maybe a bit of a nothing burger. But no, I think there's meaning in that. I genuinely do. If only because it's a street circuit, it's Baku. You gotta. Do you know what I mean? Due diligence settings. Time is money. TWM says, Omnism within F1. Who knew? I would say the full word TWM, but I'm a bit paranoid at the moment. I mean, do we even talk about Jimmy Cameron? Like, freedom of speech, yeah? Copy. There was a leak within the team that was favouring Lando. Well, go on, let's make the Lando night. Easy G, for the next 2 minutes, do one of these, sir. Let's make the Lando Norris partisanship, aka favouritism case. The suspension geometry that they tinkered to make the car easier for him to drive. The MCL 3.9 has exponentially more understeer inbuilt in it and its handling dynamic as far as its design philosophy than did the MCL 3.8 last year. Understeer doesn't suit Lando Norris's driving style very well, so they tinkered with the suspension geometry intentionally to appease for that, to make the car easier for him to drive. That's your first thing. I suppose you could argue that any team would do that, right? Ferrari have been doing that with Lewis Hamilton all year, as nears makes no difference. But your suspension geometry is the first thing. Steering, and Oscar, by the way, didn't take that upgrade. In the second instance, got to talk about the feedback through the steering wheel. Lando said that he wasn't getting what he needed to optimise for his lap time, so they tinkered with that. Okay, tick, tick. Maybe they'd give him that anyway, and that's not Trim's Darden. You're a legend, Zane. I appreciate you, mate. I don't think that's proof, but either one of the aforementioned steering feedback, suspension geometry are proof positive of any sort of favouritism necessarily. But then you get the Italian Grand Prix and it's like, maybe they're just being fair. British Grand Prix, Oscar Piastri, brake test, harsh penalty. They didn't normalise for that, did they? Where was the inversion that day? Nowhere to be seen. Do you know what I mean? No. Oscar asked, and they denied. I think that's your biggest exit. I didn't like the British Grand Prix. That was a penalty. They all thought it was harsh. The world and them, that every man and their dog thought that the British Grand Prix penalty that Oscar Piastri got was harsh at best. And McLaren didn't normalise for that, right? That was racing. But then when we get to the Italian Grand Prix, what happened to the pit? The pit stop wasn't racing. One guy spends a weekend casually driving a GT3 car in pursuit of claiming a GT licence, while the rest are busy posing for magazine covers. But you got to have a life outside. Oof. I mean, all F1 drivers are created equal, but some are created more equal than others. So much. Not reversing Silverstone for something McLaren agreed was unfair, overcutting. Can you imagine if Oscar loses the championship by the points? What is it about this cat in Baku? Is that the same cat that everybody keeps talking about? Well, I don't understand. You can tell that we're devoid, we're lacking in substance as far as juicy plot lines, eh? It's McLaren, it's the resurgence of Red Bull, and it's the Baku cat. Telling you, what are we doing? Created more equal than others. I'm telling you, I always bastardize that phrase. I think in the book, it is created equal, but I think if we're being precise with lingo, it should be created equal. No, the Baku cat. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Monza was the team's fault. I totally agree with your analogy, Cam. Appreciate you, Dan's headspace. 31 minutes left on the docket. Yellow flag, track hazard settings. At least it's not one seagull. The cat is just typical. But I don't know what the Neil. Honestly, you know, Ted has to bring something like that. But then in the same vein, on the next sentence, I'm going to criticise them for not having any personality. Do you guys watch? But I know I'm going to get into boxing again. There was a big fight on last weekend. And there's a chap called John Anik. If we're talking about commentators and their ability to nail professionalism and overlay with that a bit of personality, then John Anik, legend of MMA, play-by-play commentary, just nailed it. I was so proud of that chap. But I tell you what, you could lift and drop. John Anik's probably never watched an F1 race in his life. You could lift and drop John Anik into play-by-play for F1, and I swear he'd do a better job, an infinitely better job than any of the current set of broadcasters. Just a legend, just an absolute. These people that take their job seriously, do you know what I mean? Have all of the relevant bits and bobs. Although Crofty does take his job seriously, I'm being a bit harsh on Crofty there. He does get his research in, does Crofty? But I mean, when he drops the ball, when Charles Leclerc is about to nail his first victory around his home Grand Prix, is that something for which you can forgive him as a play-by-play commentator? I would argue not. In fairness, they're going to make Lando Park it in the garage, pirate rules. What's fair? Oh, mate, probably. It's a joke. Two sides of the garage are not working together. Hungary is a classic example. Something's going on, EasyG. Something's going on. But I mean, is this not it's going to be a matter of when, not if. Two people cannot win the championship. Two does not go into one. There should be, EasyG says C. Catstappen. Sounds great and fitting for the dude in question. I'll steal one of these and use it. Got to sports journal commentators across any sport. Aussie Bruce McAvaney. I've never heard of him. Space. I'll investigate though. Poetry when he calls anything. I will investigate. I do love a bit of Did you watch Karun's recent podcast appearance on the road to success? Pretty good insight. Jayton, I'll have a look at it. I didn't. I'm not sure whether I think it's not the time for me to rally on Karun. Karun's season today has been brilliant. It's not the time for me to do scorched earth Karun, right? Maybe this time last year, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure Karun's worth the podcast entry fee. That's what I want to say. I saw it flash up and I was like, you know what? I always talk about truth, value, objectivity, never sacrificing either one of the aforementioned at the altar of any cognitive bias worthy of the mention, worthy of the moniker even. But I'd like to see Karun on Shez's podcast, I'll be honest with you. And I know that Shez has reached out, and I know that Karun Chandok hasn't responded. So maybe I am biased. Therefore, Cameron, while we wait, do you by any chance follow Australian supercars? I don't, Dan. Dan, the gift and the curse of being an F1 or trying to be the best F1 content creator that you can be is you've almost got to specialize. I was told once upon a time that if you're gonna do anything, you want to be narrow and deep. So your knowledge well wants to go very, very deep, but it needs to be super narrow. You can't, unless you're Peter Windsor, of course, you can't. How much F2 and F3? I suppose I'm answering the same question, STZ. Like you can't be deep across a gazillion different topics unless your name's Peter Windsor. But I just sadly I don't have time. Love to consider even the Nordschleife. You saw me on the GT car bloody the stream last week. Mate, what was going on? I had no idea. Humbled. Absolutely humbled. It's actually pretty good to learn how Karun went from Indian talent to failed F1 driver to commentary. I'll have a listen to it, Jada. I feel like I know the story already, but I'll have a listen to it at some point. The problem is I just don't think okay, here's the point that I'm trying to make. If I'm being precise with my language, here is the point. I think Karun is brilliant as an analyst on F1 on Sky Sports' broadcast. Absolutely adds value. But I'm not racing to listen to him on a podcast for 60 minutes. Jay Tal, sadly. And that's my failure. We're on a break again. They're trying to get in all the breaks because we're yellow flagged, aren't we? Blimey, Neil. I'll take a look, Neil. I am the Dutch Peter Windsor, says Rick. I mean, Rick, to be fair to you, chap, you weren't half bad on the stream. You know your GT racing, that's a damn sure. You know what I mean? You and Reifenstahl last week. Legendary. Sharing information is beneficial to both drivers, EasyG. Why would they be there fighting for the championship with no competition in sight? I mean, they've just got to be very strict on the papaya rules. Lando Norris was talking about the reason why they can be so, why they're still so invested. Why they're still so invested in fair play, as it were. And Lando Norris cited Andrea Stella. He said Andrea Stella is the biggest reason why we can still be the way we are. Jack of all trades, master of none. Though oftentimes better than a master of one is the forecourt. Really, STZ? Jack of all trades, master of none. Though oftentimes better than a master of one. I would argue it's the other way round. What's the Bruce Lee quote, STZ? I'm not afraid of the man who practices 1,000 techniques one time each. I'm afraid of the person that practices one technique 1,000 times. And I think that's a bit of me. That's the mantra to which I subscribe. The real question is, are they really? Oh, we're talking about sharing strategy. I don't know what's going on with them. But just let them race now at this point. I just want them to open with the constructors and then crack on. It's a joke. But again, they're doing all of this at the altar of longevity and long form, and we don't want to fall out and be McLaren of 2007 and have Lando leave. I think one of them will leave in the end, and I think more than likely it will be Lando. If Lando realises EasyG that he can't beat Oscar, then he's got to go to pastures anew, right? Potentially Red Bull or Aston. T-minus 23 minutes left on the docket. Yellow flag circumstance. Come on a scale of 1 to 10. How much do you think Lando was about protecting Oscar? Oh, he wasn't about protecting Oscar. No. It's one of these where you can do, it's incidental selfish or selflessness. His intention wasn't to be selfless. I think Lando was being selfish, but he wrapped it up in selfless packaging. You know, oh, why don't we pit the other car first? Yeah, probably about a 7, GT, to your question, right? A 7. Lando was being quite crafty. I see you, Lando. Do you know what I mean? And you're an F1 driver, so you're supposed to do that. Yeah, there's a lot of snowflakery, but there's no bias going on, says EasyG. You can forgive OJP fans around the world for sensing bias. But it's the British Grand Prix, EasyG. Not inverting then, but inverting in the Italian Grand Prix. I understand that I don't know. Go on then, OJP. Let's go. OJP has an engine. Let's go. 20 minutes to clear the track. I know, Z. It's not good enough, is it? Do you think he'll go to Red Bull if Max is still there? No, he said already that he wouldn't do it, Nicola. He had the option. Christian Horner was sniffing around Lando Norris when he came to renew his contract. And Lando was quite open and honest. And he said, I'm not going over to Red Bull while Max is there. It's Max's house. Why would I want to play set? Do I look like Danny Rick to you? Quite right. I mean, he's been proven to be right since, eh? He has been proven to be right. I can't stand most Sky commentary, so I just mute it and listen to Cameron. You're a legend starting some ish. I appreciate you. I run everything through my computer on TV, but my woman is sleeping. Bless you. You're a legend starting some ish. I appreciate you, mate. And your missus is a legend also, proper. I think F1 fan partners of F1 fans should be like a. Do you know what I mean? There should be a community. Partners of F1 fans anonymous. What up with Lewis? I don't know. I haven't seen him. I'll be honest with you, mate. They haven't put him on the camera at all. The production. I get where you're coming from, but it's two different situations. I think you're right, Easy G. It just looks like it. Sometimes it's a pufferneer, isn't it? That's what it is. F1 a pufferneer, even though it looks like cause that. Oh my gosh, is that OJP? Is OJP parked up, or is he doing a dummy race? That it's Lando. Okay, fair. Dummy race that. He's a legend, isn't he? That Mr. Windsor fella. He's a proper enigma. It is rare that you see an F1 journo, an accredited F1 journo, I have you know, be so engaging in his presentation, his or her presentation style, and be so knowledgeable. Chaos. Absolute chaos. No, I don't think Lewis would go to Red Bull. The more pertinent conversation is whether Christian Horner would go to Ferrari. That was the conversation before they extended Frederick Vasseur's contract. But John Alkin was keen, wasn't he? Once upon a time. Do me a favour, if you like the stream, then like the stream. 77 likes. I'm hurt. That is an affliction. Do we seriously not think Lando's contract has something to do with the preferential treatment? Says Jtar. What preferential treatment, Jtar? If again we're being precise with language, what preferential treatment? I suppose you're talking about Italy. I have no clue at this point. Says he. Cam, do you think Apple TV will be better? Absolutely tired of Sky Sports and Netbuy. Tristan, so Apple TV. Okay, so there's a bidding war for the F1, the exclusive TV rights for F1 in the United States of America. It won't be ESPN anymore. It will be. Rumor is that it will be Apple. Up until recently, ESPN were paying $80 million per year. Apple will take over it. I think if Apple realise, as they do, that there is financial upside in diversifying their sports portfolio from a broadcast perspective. They're already doing NHL and NFL over the festive period in particular. So with that said, I mean, if they invest properly in F1, I mean, the F1 movie told them all they needed to know, right? About the potential upside of F1 ticker, NASDAQ. So I think they'll do it properly. I think they'll be better than Sky F1. Got more resource, do you know what I mean? How much cash and cash equivalents have they got on their balance sheet? A lot. Methinks time to make the dingoes for Oscar. See, Horner will come back in F1 Alpine, I think. If Bernie could return, so can Christian. I think his experience is a golden ticket. His experience and cachet and personality. 265, you watching Kokoro, do me a favour and smash the like. The movie was on Apple too. They produced it, Jata. So I think they're it's almost insider trading, isn't it? Go on then. 16 minutes left on the docket. Lando Norris has your, excuse me, Easy G, has your chart topping time on a 143.7 rounded. Russell on a 144. By the way, Lando Norris only 320 kilometers per hour through the speed trap, meaning therefore that they've got downforce on that car, or they've got wiggle room as far as turning their engine modes up. Russell in second on a 44.0. Charles Leclerc in third on a 44.3. Lawson and Max thereafter on a 44.3 and 44.370 respectively. Albon in sixth. Hulkenberg 7th. Tsunoda on a 144.7 in 8th. Antonelli 144.9. Well, Piastri only only up into 9th on a 44.8. That's interesting. That is interesting. Did an F1 just get a new deal with Disney? No. No. A couple of years back, maybe. But ESPN, no. ESPN, they don't want to bid. So 160 million is the figure that's been thrown about. That's what Apple are prepared to pay for the exclusive USA F1 TV rights per year. Big money, that. Max Verstappen has entered the chat, 143.790 now. 319 kilometers per hour through the speed trap. Is that do we have a Max Verstappen pole potential? I should have got my bloody here we go. I want you guys. I want you guys to tell me who the fastest driver is. We'll put that poll up because this is interesting. Why isn't Oscar getting a grid penalty for what, Bob? Well, if they've changed, I don't think they would have changed the power unit that quickly. Oscar's warming up. You could have changed the entire power unit that quickly, I don't think. Did anyone ever watch those marbles racing vids on YouTube? The map tracker always reminds me of that. I don't know what you're on about, Space. Why isn't Oscar getting that? Tell me who you think the fastest of the McLaren drivers is. Be interesting to see. Science impeding Hajar, as always. Get out the way. Do you know what I mean? Oh, there's Lewis. Any, like in general, easy G. Lando on a hot one. Look at this. 36.127 going quickest again overall. Purple, purple, purple. Oh. Get on board with Lando, mate, not Alonso. 41.9 is the pick to click sector 2. See how much quicker he goes. 41.7, 2/10 up. Jeez. Gonna go much quicker here. 43.5 incoming at least from Lando. Look at this, he's going hard. Talk about going in. This is the thesis, isn't it, chat? Do you remember when Max Verstappen said that he's not on about this bloody, they used to turn down the engines in the Christian Horner era? Not anymore. Not from Red Bull, and definitely not from McLaren and Lando. 42.7, so he's dropped the ball ever so slightly in sector 3. 4 seconds faster than Max in P2. Oh my goodness. It's a good shout, Rick. I missed it. Max is doing his convert the non-believer. Imagine TWM. F1 that like button. Let's get Cameron to over 100 likes. You're a legend here. I appreciate you, mate. Sending hate to science from Brazil. Oh, the humanity fans. Why? I mean, he's not been very good, is the truth. That's why. 325 kilometers fastest for the speed trap from Liam Lawson. Do a bit of massive suit to come in. That's crazy. Rick's highlighted the pertinent point here. The Lando Norris having done that 42.7. He's 1 second and change down the road from Max Verstappen. What? Sector 2. Go on then, let's have a look. Where's all the time coming from? Of course it's Sector 2, mate. 0.5, half a second through Sector 2, but then he's losing half a second. His nearest mate's a difference through Sector 1 as well. Sector 1 and Sector 2 is where all the... Oof! Did you hear the stat that out of 19 races so far, Sainz has been involved in an incident or had him in a can? I did hear it. I did hear it. He's not, I mean, bad luck. But fortune favours the brave sometimes, eh, Neil? Fifth, for sure, for now. Lewis made a mistake. Say it's not so. Oh, come on, Lewis. Front wing. I mean, what's the point at this stage? Did Lewis just say that he clipped the wall? Yeah, said that he clipped the wall. A whole second is wild, 100%. I think they'll get better though. It won't be that far in Q3. Antonelli hit the wall as well, for crying out loud. No, Kimmy, say it's not so, please. Let's have a look. Stumbled with Kimmy. Roland, I think you might be onto something, mate. This Max Verstappen fellow, he's not half bad. It'll go well, this Max Verstappen fellow, if he keeps his nose clean. You know what I mean? He might win a couple championships at some point. The problem is, Neil, Carlos Sainz's journey is not dissimilar to Lewis's, right? That Lewis was racing around at the front for so long, and then all of a sudden, Mercedes did what they did in 2022 and zero pod, and now Lewis had to reacclimatise to the carbon fibre zone, the mid pack, and so he's going to have more. It's apples and it's not an apples and apples compare, is it? Oh, look at all the debris on the track, bloody Nora. I said Lewis has done for years, can't be making them mistakes, Chris. I don't disagree, Chris. Charles Leclerc has indeed entered the chat on 143.256. Delta between Charles Leclerc and time and chart topping time. Session topping time from Lando Norris. 0.6 still? Fudge. Yeah, Max is alright. He's alright, isn't he, Chris? He's alright. Do you know what I mean? Wasn't too bad at the British Grand Prix, nor the Saudi Arabian, nor Suzuka for quali. Cameron, which tracks have you visited in real life? Silverstone. Silverstone's just down the road from here. So I've spent a lot of time at Silverstone. Sainz making risky low percentage moves when running. Oh no, it's not good enough, is it? He'll get there though. I've got faith in Carlos. He's better than he's showing, as is Lewis. Lewis kissed the wall and asked to have his cap replaced. Nose cap. But even at Ferrari, he had so many silly. No, he's a bit trigger happy. Look at you, Neil. All of a sudden now you've got your you've played your way into the critical crease. Carlos can be a bit on the throttle. Carlos can be a bit trigger happy. He's got a heavy right foot, but he's better than he's showing here. Short, like I don't know. I thought he was going to come in and destroy Alex Albon. That hasn't happened, of course, but I don't know. I think there'll be something of a mean reversion. I think personally. Alex for podium, no. But they said, Alex Albon said that, I remember as long as I've known that Williams over the past couple of years, that it's super good on, like, it's very slippery, right? So around a tempo of speed, they'll show very well. But around a Baku, a sector 2 of Baku, they'd always struggle. But Alex Albon said on a podcast recently that around 90-degree turns, low minimum speed, medium duration type twisties, that Williams are really, really quick. I was like, what? Since when? He's talking about T-minus 5 minutes as you round third base. I was just like, what? Since when, Alex Albon? Maybe they are on the up and up. Maybe they are on the up and up, this Williams teams. Maybe Jimmy V does know what he's doing. Maybe I've underestimated the whole operation. Since when, chat, are Williams quick around 90-degree turns? Set to 2 at Baku. Well, in fact, let's test this out. I want to see. I want to see how quick. So Alex Albon does a 42.3. Yeah, it's still 0.7 adrift. But I mean, to be fair, Alex Albon is like, it's only 0.4 adrift of Charles Leclerc in set to 2. I don't know. Oh, here we are. Now, there, come after hour, come after Max Verstappen, 36.2, only a tenth off in set to 1, and he's doing purples in set to 2. If he look, the pick to click for Max Verstappen, McLaren did 41.7 in set to 2. How close can he get? If he gets within a tenth of that, I'll be well happy. 41.7 from Lando through set to 2. Let's see how quick, how close Max can get to that. 41.7. All eyes on Max Verstappen, set to 2 here. Oh, fudge, Max. He dropped it. Ah, Max. No, Max. I was keen. Damn it. Now we don't get to see Max overcuts it. Agreed. Fail fast, Max. Uncharacteristic mistake, but at least he didn't yeet it into the barrier. That's. I had a feeling this would happen to Max. Max overcut it. I know that's an uncharacteristic mistake. He was on it. He was on the money though. Look at that. Purple, purple, purple microsector, green microsector, yellow. I can't be making mistakes like this, Jata. True. Uncharacteristic from Max if he's going to build the bloody. But I mean, he's dealing with a car that's temperamental. Not to make excuses for the fella, but come on, Max, get it together. Chap says Z. What were the 4 results that if you change them, Lewis could be an 11-time champion, not including that race in 2021. I can't remember them. There's a podcast. They did this on the Intercooler podcast. China was one of them, of course, 2007. China. There'd be one in 2012 as well. I think. Can't remember. Too early in the morning for these techie questions. Ralph. It's only FP1, let's not overthink. There's only 2 minutes and 21 seconds left of FP1 to be precise. Bloody Norway. Chill out, Oscar. You've only just got a car back, mate. I am indeed, Daniel. There's a car right on track. We'll be here talking about it. I promise, mate. I promise. I've been slacking a little bit with the schedule, but we're gonna get back to full send mornings and afternoons as of next week. Baku's going to be carnage, and I'm here for it. Says Max always. McLaren manipulating the championship. They're manipulating it, man, by messing with Oscar's car. Now, I know. Well, you'll never know definitively, but it feels a lot like 2016 at the moment for me and Lewis Hamilton. T-minus 1 minute left on the docket. That Lando Norris time is quick. Look at that, 3/10 down the road from his teammate OJP. It's not bad around here, that Lando fella, but it's not his best track. OJP goes better if past his prologue. It's going to be interesting. Brazil 07, Spain 2010, Malaysia 16. There you go. Get Davey on the money, eh? I know that the guys over at Intercooler put that forth as the supposition, and Karan Chandok adopted it. And they plagiarised it. Oof, Z. I like, Z, I tell you what, for quali, I liked it when Max Verstappen was in like 10-1 or something ridiculous. Then he's always like too good to turn down, right? 10-1. 18-1 at sort of flipping Nora. Jeez, Lewis just finds himself in the wrong. Lando does tend to show his hand. He does show his hand a bit early, does Lando. He's not good at hiding his light under busher. Let's see, Isaac Agile on Lewis. I'm in a good mates. Oh, Isaac Agile fails fast. As you would, as you should. What I see is that Max is near about 1/10 to Lando, Kartik says. Normalised. I think Red Bull have got some work to do. It will get techier than techie things as we warm up into the race weekends. It will get chaotic. Right, I'm going to run 312 of you watching. Do me a favour, if you like the stream, then like the stream. The first of a few this race weekend day. We'll be here for FP2 later on today, FP3 tomorrow morning, quali and the race, of course. What else would you expect to be doing F1 a disservice? Excuse me, not F1, F1 ticker NASDAQ a disservice if we didn't. You guys have been legends. Enjoy. Have a fantastic Friday. Hug somebody that you love. We'll be back a little bit later on, 30 minutes before FP2. Between now and then, as always, legends, the prosecution rests. No further questions, Your Honour.